Because what could I have possibly said to make him publicly disavow me like that, or publicly disrespect? There's no way the guys who I've been defending, putting my reputation on the line, while there's all these X accounts saying this is a human trafficker, pedophile, all this. And then all the liberals are like, oh, if you're wrong, you're going to be, your reputation's dead. I'm like, no, I met these guys, they're good people, and I looked through the case and I think it's bullshit. There's no chance the first time Andrew Tate tweets saying my name, it's disrespectful, is it? After all that? So, wait, chat. Are you insinuating that I did all that for nothing? That I publicly defended a guy that I agree with 99% of issues on, that he found something to focus on, to hyper-focus on, to disrespect me publicly? Is that what you guys are saying? Really? No, that can't be. The battle of the grifters. Pre my Muslim brother. I love all my brothers. Okay, let's go dissect on this all. Let's get into all this stuff. I'm half black and half white. Let me confirm something. Race is real. It's super real. I can literally turn my black side or white side on, like choosing a different video game character, depending on the situation. Whoa. Whatever is more advantageous at the time. Whoa. I can be white in the courtroom and in jail. Whoa! Don't say that word! That's edgy. I'm a hybrid, the ultimate version of human. But most are not hybrid. Most are one or the other. The white supremacists who say race is everything are totally right. It is. Ignoring race spells the end of the white man, as their complex systems can easily be overloaded by brutality. So he's saying that white men are weaker than black men, and black men are gonna brutally and perspicaciously destroy them. White people disagree, court. Black people disagree, kill. Stabbing is easier than suing. It's not the right, but it's fast. Okay, so he's saying white people sue and black people murder. Efficiency wins in the end. White people, okay, blah, 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 blah. All right. I'm gonna get to this point. Traitors are the worst, they inspire enemy, but race is real. And Andrew Tate says, and white supremacists are totally right. Which is not true. In fact, white supremacists are wrong in this sentence because whites are not the supreme race. It's a very simple sentence. White supremacists are not right. Especially not totally right, because totally right means right completely. They're not. And also, what it says earlier in this tweet is talking about how white people are smart and black people are animals. So like black people are murderous and just know how to stab, and white people are so high IQ that they go to court. That's what he's insinuating. And black people are animalistic and so they murder, and white people, they go through the legal system. So he's saying that he's justifying the white supremacist belief. White supremacy believing that white people are superior because they're more advanced, they're more intellectual, they're more capable, and black people are an animalistic monkey species who cannot even exist in the first world. That's the white supremacist belief, and that is incorrect. That's a lie. That's not true. In fact, it goes against the very fundamentals of Islam. So, I tweeted, I said, white supremacists are totally right. This goes against the core fundamentals of Islam. God did not, in fact, choose any race as supreme, and if you believe so, you're Jewish. Saying, if you believe that there's a supreme race, you follow the Zionist ideology that's creating all the disruption in the world.
Really,
you
bro?
are following the belief system that's contributing to the genocide of Palestinians right now, Free Palestine. There is no supreme race. God did not choose anybody to be better than anybody else. That's why Islam exists. Islam exists to get rid of that racial barrier. So I corrected him. If you believe that you're better than other people, you are following Zionist ideology. In fact, that's a Talmudic ideology, that everybody else is goy, everybody else is subhuman, animalistic, everybody else is worse, and that they can do things to the rest of the world that they don't do between themselves. For example, they won't practice usury between themselves, but they'll practice it with the rest of the world. They won't do gambling, they won't share porn with themselves, with their own race, but they'll spread it to the rest of the world because they're the chosen people, they're the supreme race. And I even said this yesterday. I would argue the first act of racism ever was Iblis. When God told Iblis
Shaitan
to go and prostrate to Adam, Iblis said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm superior. I'm arrogant. It was the first act of arrogance. And God said, well, cast him away and said, if you're not gonna obey me, then get away. And then Iblis became Satan. That was the first act of racism. And we should be very careful of that. Arrogance, there's a lot of stories that there's a lot of examples and metaphors we could take from that story. How being arrogant is the source of all evil. How Shaitan started with an act of racism, with the feeling of superiority. That's what racism really is, a feeling of superiority. But let's see what he said. That was not racism, but it's a feeling of superiority, which is exactly what racism is.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're better. It's very simple. It's very easy to debunk.
Don't want to be racist.
You know, it's a founding story. I stopped talking to you years ago for a reason. Okay, so the top G, the beacon of masculinity, unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer masculinity makes me a feared top G in any realm of Twitter. No way he did an ad hominem attack at a very simple argument. Let's go back one more time. This goes against, you saying white supremacy is right, goes against the fundamentals of Islam. There is no supreme race, and if you believe that, you're following an incorrect ideology, which is Judaism. Then, the beacon of truth, the symbol of masculinity. I stopped talking to you years ago. For a reason. Okay, I don't know what the reason is. That was never specified. I saw him do a stream. What's the reason, Andrew? Is it because I'm correcting you? Is it because you said something that was wrong? And what's the reason? Then he says, SNEAKO, I ratioed you, but there's no need to bot 4K likes. I just saw it. That's gay as That's gay! In fact, I did not bot. I was live watching the stream on Discord yesterday with Jake Future. But whatever. That's besides the point. Let's go. And then he did a stream afterwards, and we're going to go into all of that. But I think this is really silly. I think this is an emotional argument, and especially, Andrew, when you position yourself as a beacon of truth, as the symbol of traditional masculinity, as the last light of the old world, when you pride yourself and boast about your intelligence, you should be able to read a very simple sentence. If you believe a false ideology, you are incorrect. That's what my sentence was. He heard the word Jewish and immediately just got triggered and then started doing ad hominem attacks, much like a woman. This is what women do. When you tell a woman the truth, you human trafficker, you're gay, and your mama and your baby daddy. That's the response. Listen to what I said. What I said is factually true. And if you can't handle correction, if you can't understand, or if you can't take criticism, maybe you're not the symbol of traditional masculinity that you claim to be. You go on and boast about that all the time. That's what everybody hears. I'm the last beacon of masculinity, the last symbol of truth. Somebody corrects you. I don't like you. Ratio, gay. The word Jewish shouldn't be a trigger to you. Do you understand the difference between being a Muslim and being a Jew? Of course, not all Jews believe this, but the Jews that believe in the Talmud acknowledge they believe everybody else is inferior because they're the chosen people. The superiority complex that makes the world the way it is. Very simple stuff. I have to point out the obvious. There's clearly been some sort of anger, some sort of jealousy, or perhaps some sort of emotional attachment to whatever. Because I have been publicly defending Andrew Tate. Everybody has seen it relentlessly for years. To the point where it was a meme, where I was taking hits on my own reputation. To where people were making fun, oh, you're glazing, taco, all this stuff. When they were in jail, do you know the amount of people that I had to debate, the amount of people that I had to go against defending your case? Never heard a word of thanks, never heard a word of consolation. That's fine. The truth is more important. I don't need to get approval. I don't care. If there's something incorrect happening to one of my brothers, I'm going to go and speak up for them. But very clear what everybody sees. You have not acknowledged any of that. You've never said a word of anything positive. The first time you speak about me is negative and trying to tear down what I've brought. To try to tear down my career. In fact, you said that you were going to end my career. That you want to end everything that I've built. That's the first acknowledgement. From the person, probably the most famous person in my generation by far.
Andrew Tate.
The day one when you got locked up. It was me. You're innocent. This is incorrect. This is unjust. The only one. In fact, I think I deserve credit for helping your reputation with Gen Z. Who else was really saying this? I love Aiden, and I think you've been disrespectful to Aiden as well, but a lot of people were quiet. A lot of people didn't say a word because they didn't want to risk their reputation in case that you were actually guilty. But I was there. And then the first time you say anything is, you're gay, I stopped talking to you for a reason. People see through this. People see through this. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother my community, the audience, but people are going to see through this, and it's going to damage your reputation as the beacon of truth, the beacon of masculinity. You're like, what? Wait, what about brotherhood? What about loyalty? What about truth? What did SNEAKO even say to make you this upset? What did SNEAKO say to trigger you to diss him publicly and then make a whole stream correcting him and threatening to, saying you want to fight, saying you want to end my career, to be boastful and prideful? In fact, the arrogance that everybody is seeing from this is proof that maybe people are going to start looking in different directions. If you want to keep the brand of Top G, you cannot hold on to this arrogance and pride that you so clearly have. And I'm not saying this is disrespect, but it's become evident to a lot of people. Because real masculinity is not being boastful. Real masculinity is not being prideful. Real masculinity is not flashiness and cars and look how strong and rich I am. Money does not make your masculinity. In fact, it's the opposite. Being humble, being respectful, being generous, being kind. All these attributes that you don't really speak about it, that you do touch on them sometimes, but that's what really makes a real man. Respect, truth, kindness, generosity, this stuff. Not flashy, strong, shirt off, all this. I get that it's provocative for the stream and it brings people in. And one thing I hear you say all the time, Andrew, is that young people need an action movie star to look up to. I need to be the top G. I'm a symbol for the young generation with this. But what they also need is somebody to look up to who's not arrogant, who's not prideful about this, who's willing to admit when they're wrong. And you're not. In fact, when you indirectly stirred up commotion in the UK by endorsing Tommy Robinson, a paid Zionist, pretty much a Mossad agent, and you said, Tommy Robinson's right. Basically the same point with white supremacy now, saying that they should be able to stand up for their land. You were almost directly or indirectly inciting violence on the Muslims in the UK. All the riots that were craziness, a lot of them can be directly attributed to the tweets, which I didn't see you walk back, which I didn't see you apologize for. In fact, Tommy Robinson is not somebody that we should associate with at all. He's a paid Zionist shill. He very clearly hates Muslims, hates your belief system. And as a Muslim, you're supposed to love Islam and you're supposed to love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than your own parents. And you're going to go stand up for this guy, Tommy, because you knew him from back in Luton. This is creating more division in the UK, and you haven't admitted when you're wrong. And so I'm going to get into more of this white supremacy issue later. But I want to show you, if you didn't see. Look at this. 2023, 2024, just some of the tweets. We're all praying for Andrew Tate's health. First day of Ramadan 2 years in a row, all part of their plan. Free the Tate brothers. Free Andrew and Tristan Tate. Free Tate, free Tate, free Tate. Non-stop. First time here. Gay, stop talking to you for a reason. Fine. Your approval is not the be-all, end-all of anybody's existence. That's fine. But I do want to say for the Muslims that are listening, the real top G is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The perfect, almost sinless person. The man that we are supposed to follow by example. If you just follow Quran Sunnah, if you look at Hadith and you see the life that he lived, he's the perfect example of masculinity, of bravery, conduct business, about how to go about the world. The real top G is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because anybody that's going to follow after, we're going to be flawed. I'm flawed. Andrew Tate's flawed. We're going to be arrogant. We're going to be incorrect. We're going to be backbiters. We're going to make mistakes. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not make mistakes. He's almost sinless, if not completely sinless. That's the perfect example. So if you're going to use that image and say that I'm the truth, I'm top G, I'm masculinity, then be able to take criticism. It's not haram police. It's not snakery. And then he tweeted this: I did not revert to Islam to try and attract, he meant to say revert, try to attract fans from Islamic countries. And this is very clearly a sneak to send me. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's funny that Andrew Tate, in the stream after, he called me passive aggressive, and then he makes this whole tweet, which is an indirect sneak diss, so it's very passive aggressive. Let's be real. Said, I did not revert to Islam to try to attract fans from Islamic countries. I did not revert to use Islam as a shield from hate. I did not revert to jump on a bandwagon. That is a grift. I am not a grifter. I keep my faith between God and I. Anthony Joshua, Mike Tyson, Dave Chappelle, etc. Many prominent Muslims are private. Praying in private is showing worship to God. This is true faith. Andrew, this is incorrect. Praying in congregation is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to interact with the rest of the world. Muslims are supposed to be praying publicly. We're supposed to be doing this. Praying in private is in fact not a symbol of true faith at all. And nowhere in Quran and Sunnah does it say this. Trying to act as Muslim as possible for internet likes is simply a grift. Beware the haram police. They're the biggest snakes of all. Who snaked you? By correcting you on white supremacy? It's not haram policing you by saying you're wrong about white supremacy. That's not haram police. Okay, you very publicly made that mistake already once with Tommy Robinson. Hopefully you don't make it again. Because you see what happened in the UK. Let's be real.
Few people got confused, including SNEAKO. And guys, I know everyone's giving him a hard time right now, but I'm not here to end SNEAKO's career. I mean, I could, but I thought I'd explain this one because a few people got confused, including SNEAKO. And guys, I know everyone's giving him a hard time right now, but I'm not here to end SNEAKO's career. I mean, I could. I'm that guy. But I'm not here to do that to the guy.
What's so funny about that? That's what is kind of weird about watching your streams now. Is that we're not here laughing with you. It's like it's a giant, it's there for to show off like, I'm top G, I'm this, I'm that guy, I'm the strongest, I'm the richest, I'm this, and then I can ruin his life. People aren't laughing with you there. It's you're alone in your room boasting about ending my career because I corrected you. But people, I think that's what you don't understand, is that people are not laughing with you when you do this.
Guy, you know, he's young. He's young. He'll get it. So, you know, whatever. SNEAKO has his view. The only reason I even replied to him is because he implied I was Jewish, which he knows is a bit far.
For somebody that prides himself on his intellectual ability and his chess playing and his unmatched perspicacious ability, you should be able to see that. You should understand what if means. If you believe that whites are the supreme race, you're following Jewish ideology. I'm not calling you a Jew. No one called. Did you read the sentence? If. Because you said white supremacy is totally right. So if you believe that, you're following a Jewish ideology. He's not able to make the connections there. He saw that word and then immediately, like, probably pent up whatever from several years. That was his the trigger.
It's kind of interesting, you know. I've always noticed this about him. He's kind of passive aggressive. You know?
If I'm passive aggressive, what is this? What is this? Tag my name here.
He's kind of like one of those girls who like starts a fight and gets in your face and says, hit me then, hit me, hit me, hit me. And then like hits you 3 times, hit me. And then you hit her and she's like, oh. It's like, you can't just sit there and call me a Jew and then be like, why did he reply that? Like, bro, you need to chill out. Anyway, I have nothing against SNEAKO. He's a man on his own journey. I'm not his enemy. I don't need to implode his career. If he wants to ruin his career, he can do it himself.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin my career, Andrew. Look, if you think you can end my career, you're going to have to kill me. That's the only way that I'm going to stop ever doing what I do. Sean Strickland tried to knock me out, couldn't work. Bradley Martin got 100 pounds more than me. Friendly Spar tried to knock me out, couldn't work. How many people have I went up against? When people thought I went up against Moist Critical and then I destroyed him in the debate, they couldn't get me. Chris Mississippi, same thing. He tried to destroy my career, couldn't get me. If anybody, this is a message, not just if you like feeling like, if you think you can end my career, you're going to have to kill me. I'm never going to go anywhere. I'm never stopping. There's nothing on this earth and nothing that I fear other than God. You can't ever stop this, ever, unless you take my life away. And then I'm martyred, and then I'm happy, and then I'm in the highest rank in Jannah, inshallah. That's it.
Inshallah.
I'm never stopping this.
May Allah bless you.
I had this disagreement with Fresh the other day. He's like, oh, well, what if they ban you here? What if they ban you there? I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going anywhere. No matter what they try to throw at me, no matter what opponents in front of me, even if I'm in the cage next to a UFC champion that's 70, 80 pounds more than me, and he's trying to knock me out, I'm not falling. Nothing is going to be able to take me down. If that didn't take me down, I don't know what you think will, but trust me, I fear no man.
Allahu Akbar! Carrying down this asinine path of insanity. So nothing against him. This is not an anti-SNEAKO stream. I know all of you are messaging me, bury SNEAKO. No, I won't. I'm a merciful man. What I am going to do is explain my tweet.
Merciful people don't brag about how merciful they are. And he's clearly got people around him that don't want to see my career thrive. Bury SNEAKO, bury. I don't know what the reason could be. I don't know what it could possibly, why would he have people in his inner circle that want to see my career end? Especially with, you know, it's okay. But
I'm a merciful man. What I am going to do is explain my tweet. I'm going to explain what I meant. Then we've got some clips here. Supposedly SNEAKO's been talking about me. I don't know. I've never watched a SNEAKO stream in my life, but supposedly he's talked about me. So we're going to play them, see if there's anything of interest.
okay, and here's where like the arrogance and the cockiness, it muddies up your credibility, Andrew. If you say I've never seen a SNEAKO stream, but then you go on to say like, oh, I haven't been a Saudi like SNEAKO. SNEAKO's snarky here. He said this here. He said this in his stream, and he's crashing out here, and he's ending, and he's talking about Haitian cats. Then you've seen my streams, okay? I know that you want to put off this persona like I'm too alpha to watch a live stream, but if you watch all the clips, you're essentially watching the stream. Okay, you could drop the facade. People understand that all the content creators are watching content, right? Just because you're in Romania in a house and you're far doesn't mean that you're on a different atmosphere, on a different planet compared to content creators.
I'm half black and half white. Let me confirm something. Race is real. It's super real. I can literally turn my black side or white side on like choosing a different video game character depending on the situation. Whatever is more advantageous at the time. I can be white in the courtroom, a in jail. I'm a hybrid, the ultimate version of human. But most of you are not hybrid. Most of you are one or the other. The white supremacists who say race is everything are totally right.
Also, it's white supremacists. It's white supremacists, not supremacists. I heard him say that like 50 times. It's not supremacist.
It is. Ignoring race spells the end of the white man, as the white man's complex systems can be easily overloaded by brutality. White people disagree, court. Black people disagree, kill. Stabbing is easier than suing. It's not right, but it's fast. It's quick, it's efficient, and efficiency wins in the end. White people systems work with white people. Suing only works when suing is the only option. Bottom line, ignore race at your peril.
Okay, he's just going on and on.
Like, oh, he's a white supremacist. You're a nigger, Andrew. They're never going to like you. You're a nigger. You got that right. You got 100% real 100% hard R. Ask your girl. Ask her. 100% sapphires. I got baby mamas. I've been to jail. My black card is in check. Bro. That has nothing to do with what I've said. That has nothing to do with what I've said. I've said that if white people do not have a white-only country, sooner or later they're going to end up decimated. That's what I've said. That doesn't mean...
Yeah, I've agreed on that, like, many times. Many times. Again, for someone who prides himself on his intelligence, maybe you should watch the streams before you make streams responding and thinking that you know what my opinion is. I've said white people need to start having children now. White people need to start having strong immigration. White people need to care about their own race. They should stop having so many white liberals. White people need religion back because the feminism issue is not working. I've been talking about this for 2 years. For how long? What do you think all the collabs that I've had with Nick are about? White people need to have some sort of identity again, or else they're going to be decimated.
You said white supremacists are the best. You said white people are the best. Never said that. Where did I say white people?
Okay, it's very silly. Very silly.
That. Where did I say white people are the best people in my tweet?
Andrew, you said white supremacists are totally right. Do you know what supremacist means? And here's where the semantics come in. I think he's just, and this is where it's just incorrect. And why maybe he could have reached out. He's applying the MSM mainstream media definition of white supremacists to white separatists or to white nationalists, not people who literally think their race is supreme. Because people who think their race is supreme are wrong. Okay, that's basically the white version of Zionism. I went over that. But he's attributing that to like what the mainstream media would call a white supremacist to people that want strong white identity. And that's where the disagreement comes in. Because we agree about this issue. I just don't think he understands that. I don't even think he knows what white supremacist means. I don't think he gets that. I also don't think that he understands the analogy of Jewish people being the supreme race. I don't think he understood that. I looked into it. I think he just saw the tweet and got really upset.
Didn't say that. They're actually losing. So how did I say they're the best people ever? In fact, I said hybrids are the best. I can go to Brazil, say Capasso mi amor or some and be Brazilian. When I go Egypt, they talk to me in Egyptian. I could be white. I can do it all. I can go to Russia. I go to Mongolia. I'm fine. I'm a hybrid. I got everything. I can run fast. I can do math. I can do both sides. I'm the ultimate male. I don't know what you want me to say. The only people I've said are the heroes are the hybrids. Now, my mother went through a whole bunch of hate in the 80s for dating a black man. My mother went through a whole bunch of for that, but it made me perfect.
You're not perfect, Andrew. You're not. You're far from perfect, and so am I. I'm far from perfect, and you will never be perfect. And every day you have to strive to be better. It's not me haram policing. That's like what we're supposed to do as men. That's real masculinity, is understanding your flaws, being humble, and knowing that we're never going to be as perfect as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there's no point in saying this anymore. There's no point in positioning yourself as perfection, as the ideal man, because you're not. It's not an insult. That's what's true.
Someone actually quite astutely pointed out to me, was your mother a race traitor? I said, that's actually a very interesting point. But then, I guess, when you understand the world, you understand women ain't loyal anyway. Women are only loyal to their own feelings unless they have a patriarchal force that's forcing them to be loyal to anything, whether it's their race or their religion or their country. Women don't give a by anything. So if her dad didn't keep her ass in check, I guess some up and here I am. What do you want me to do about it? But hybrids are the superhumans. I never said white people are the best.
Okay, so now he's saying hybrids are superhumans. So do you actually believe, Andrew, that maybe he's being facetious, but he's saying hybrids are superhumans here. Hybrids are the supreme race. So in the tweet, he's saying white people are smarter, black people are more animalistic, violent, and hybrids are supreme because they can do both. All of that's wrong, Andrew. Literally all of those statements are incorrect. You should just drop that. Like there's no point in continuing to spread that. It just riles people up. It gets people extremely angry. And I understand his point of view, but I think it doesn't transcend, it doesn't get to the next level. He keeps saying that white separatists, he understands, he has empathy for these people because their nations are getting decimated, because they used to have strong white Christian brotherhood and all this stuff, and it's going away very quickly because of immigration, blah, 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 because of feminism, liberalism, whatever you want to blame it. So he understands that inclination to want to save your country. They're coming to slaughter your daughter. Stand up and fight! Fight! The man in Cardiff is a Muslim. He wasn't a Muslim. He was born in Cardiff, and he was actually Christian. And he wasn't a foreigner. He wasn't an illegal immigrant. Fight! And so he's kind of justifying that white anger right now, which it's understandable. It's okay to be empathetic towards that. We have to understand why white people are upset that their nations are getting decimated and that they're not the majority anymore. But that anger, you don't need to justify that anger, right? He's saying it's okay to, he's not specifically saying it's okay to riot, but he's like, it's okay to have that angry feeling that will lead towards rioting and lead towards doing things and fighting back and all this stuff. And I actually think it's a victim mentality. I think it's a lot of it is a victim mentality from the whites, the same way that black people have a victim mentality. Black people blame everything on whitey in America. They'll say everything is the white man's fault, the white oppressors, and then they'll go pop a Percocet and then shoot their op and then baby mama and all this stuff. White people, when it comes to this white identity, white separatism thing, they're like, oh, we're getting decimated, but the solution to this problem is not going out and rioting, looting, and, just saying on Twitter, behind like an anonymous account. That's not the solution to this problem. That anger is being redirected in the wrong places. That anger should be redirected into having 10 children, into having multiple, into having a big family, into getting rid of liberalism in the household, into making, having a strong household that's away from all the programming, that's away from the LGBTQ agenda. That anger should be building a community, building a farm, being self-sustainable, not letting the government control you anymore because the government failed you. The government that the white Christians propped up in the first place, the neocons, all this, they failed you. They sold out. And now you're getting decimated, so you need to find a solution. And the solution is not rioting. The solution is not whatever it is right now, because it's not working. The solution is starting a family, is becoming God-fearing again, is returning to some sort of traditional values, is getting rid of usury, getting rid of porn, getting rid of gambling. Right? It's not holding on to this white supremacy. We was Julius Caesar. My eyes are blue and I'm Aryan and Hitler and that's not the solution. Like, it's okay to feel, happy about your race or whatever, but that's not going to go and solve anything. All you're doing is kind of living vicariously through your ancestors instead of changing what's inevitable, which is that white people are going to be replaced if you don't have kids right now. So instead of going around with sticks in the street with a black ski mask and then, burning up a mosque, have a family.
I said that the brutality will overwhelm your systems because your systems are based on civility and you have been and constrained by morality. And that is the point I'm trying to make, which is extremely important here. So let's break the whole tweet down little by little. Let's go through it. I'm half black and half white. True. Actually, to be technical, my white side is half English, half Irish. My black side, I don't know. We traced it back.
And here, I don't know if anybody notices this as well. He says, my white side is half English, half Irish. Did you know, even though some people call this a liberal argument, but did you know that Irish people weren't considered white until very recently? Like when whiteness and, you know, there were the Roman Empire and then the Nordics came around and then they found the United States and all this stuff. During like that empire colonial period, during the peak of white identity, Irish people weren't considered white. And so now Andrew's saying I'm half white because I'm half, but like, so what is whiteness? What is that exactly? I want to hear that defined correctly. What is whiteness? Some people will say European. Well, okay, do Turkish people count? What about Greeks? What about Italians? Italians were not too long ago. Greek people look like they're Moroccan. Greek people have the same skin tone as me sometimes. And even the Nordic people wouldn't consider anything else besides the Nordic people, the British people, or people from the Netherlands. They wouldn't consider anybody else white besides them. And then they kind of brought that back up. And so people say we need strong white identity. The US, America was founded by white people. Okay, but it wasn't founded by, like, some people say Mexicans are white or Italians are white. They were not considered part of that group. And so now you're joining in now. You're kind of muddying up that original identity. So I want to ask a serious question. What is whiteness? What does that mean? I want to hear that clearly defined. And I understand. I understand why people are upset, why people want, you know, immigrants to get out, why they dislike blah, blah, blah. But I want to hear whiteness defined more clearly because I haven't heard anybody speak about that yet. And where this argument transcends even a level further, if we really want to have this difficult conversation, I've been doing this over stream, and you know, I understand it gets repetitive, but religion for a lot of people in the West now has become whiteness. And that's why people are really upset about me saying that the cat eating story from Haiti was a lie, because it's still a lie. No one's proven that there's Haitian immigrants eating cats in the United States. It's still a lie. But the reason people are so upset about that is because religion for a lot of white people in the West is their race, not their faith. Whiteness transcends Christianity for a lot of people. A lot of them believe Jesus was white. A lot of people believe white Christian ideas, like we need a white Christian nation, even though whiteness has no place in Christianity. Jesus was not white, in fact. No matter how much you try to cope about that, he was from the Middle East. He wore a thobe and had sandals on. He was an Arab dude. And I understand why people think that. It's fine. It's okay. I'm not gonna change your mind. But I think a lot of that is a response to Zionism, to Judaism. Because Judaism actually is an ethno-religion, right? Your mother has to be Jewish for you to be Jewish. If you read the Talmud, it descends to the 12 tribes. So you have to be ethnically Jewish to be Jewish. They don't really accept other people. It's not the same for Christianity and Islam. But white people have seen what's happened to their nations. They've seen how the West has been displaced and, you know, the controlling mechanisms that happen. They're like, and so they want to fight back against that. They're fighting against Zionism by creating their own version of it. White Christianity. But you can't, and I understand why they want to do it, but I'm just pointing out like that there's no basis for that in Christianity. And I understand you want to save your people, but what's more important? You know, this life, the dunya, or eternal salvation? Because God does not want you to muddy up your race. God does not prefer that. God does not care what your race is. He cares what you do.
And the black side of me were slaves for the Tate and Lyle sugar. You know the blue and white sugar packs, Tate and Lyle? I don't even know that. That was me. Tate and Lyle sugar. That's why I'm so sweet. And then white, my mother's half Irish, half English. Race is real, it's super real. I can turn on my black side or my white side, like choosing different video game characters depending on the situation. Whatever's more advantageous at the time. I can be white in the court.
Yeah, okay. But I want to point this out because this is even the bigger point. I think white people, I think they see the solution. There's a viable solution right in front of them. And it's unrealistic for it to happen because they see Islam as a brown terrorist religion. So I understand them wanting to be Christian, and it's probably more unlikely. So it's pretty unlikely that they would all convert to Islam. But it fixes their problems. It fixes the issue of gambling, usury, porn, drugs, feminism. It fixes all the problems that have contributed to their genocide right now. In fact, it even gives a solution. It gives them the opportunity to have 4 wives and have 10 children. While a lot of them cope online, a lot of them aren't going to have kids and they're going to, blame the Jews for everything, which you can understand why. They could be having a lot of children. And you know what a good example of is of a flourishing white nation that I really love? Bosnia. I love Bosnia. I might move there. Bosnia has got to be like 95% white. But guess what? I would say 99% white. It's all Muslim. People don't know that. People don't talk about this nation. But when I'm there and when Arabs go there because some Saudis go visit for tourism, nobody sees them as different. If you're Muslim and you say salam alaikum and they say wa alaikum salam, You walk up to your brother, you look him in the eye, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. They see you as a brother. They don't see you as different. But they're mostly a homogenous society. They are doing well with Islam, and they don't ever want to change that. They figured it out, but people don't talk about this country. So that's a good example of a white country. If you want to be around white people because you value that so much, if people can relinquish their ego around this Christian thing and this traditional values, because let's be real, Western Christian values, it failed. It failed. The neocons muddied it. Like, when are we going to start letting white people take accountability for it the same way we tell black people to take accountability for the fact that they kill each other and pop drugs? White Christians let their countries be taken over by Zionism. They let it be taken over by feminism, by liberalism. A lot of it is a failure. But I don't see any accountability for that. And this is not me being anti-white. Let's actually look at the situation and be realistic about it. When are you going to take responsibility for the fact that people like Hillary Clinton, George Bush, Dr. Fauci, all the neocons, they teamed up with the Zionists to go and spread to spread this idea across the whole world. And then look what happened. Look at the end result in the West. They let feminism take over, and now white people they're not here anymore. They'll blame, and it's understandable why they'll blame Zionists, but when are they going to look in the mirror and be like, okay, how did we fail? How did Christianity fail? Because the United States was not built as a Christian nation. The United States was founded by, these Enlightenment people. These people they had muddied up the supremacist idea with these French philosophers and stuff. They were Freemasons. The founding fathers of America were not Christian. They were Freemasons. So when is the time to see, like, maybe this system didn't work? Instead of trying to go back to traditional values, let's analyze what happened. It did not work. It failed, because you could see what's happening right now. Maybe it's time for an update. Maybe it's time for a system change. And I understand people's egos are so strong, they're not going to be able to see that. You know what's going to happen? This is going to get clipped up. People are not going to look at my argument. They're going to call me anti-white. They're going to say I'm funded by Saudi. They're going to say I'm funded by Arabs, and I'm trying to appeal to something. They're going to say I don't care about white people, blah, blah, blah. I'm controlled opposition. But they won't see the actual point. This system did not work, right? Or you wouldn't see what's happening in France right now. You wouldn't see everything happening here. From my view, if I was a white Christian who really cared about white identity, I'd be like, okay, we failed. We reigned for a long time, but this belief system did not work. It's time to go and look for something new. They value whiteness over their faith.
When SNEAKO's saying I'm a white supremacist, he's a...
Okay, if I'm a say the word correctly, it's supremacist, Andrew.
Because I'm actually saying white people are weak and stupid, and we're conquering their So the white supremacist. Then he tries to quote scripture at me. Bruv, you're not a prophet. Chill. I have people I learn from. It ain't you. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, Andrew, do you think that being a prophet is quoting scripture? This is what we do. This is what you do. This is how we have conversations. We go to Quran Sunnah and we figure out what the truth is, and we try to help each other out. I'm not trying to be on a superiority complex. Like, he really thinks that this is a competition. He thinks that I'm trying to be a better Muslim than Andrew. I don't care. I want the best for you, Andrew. I love you for the sake of Allah. No matter what you say, that I don't care, don't talk to you. Regardless, you're Muslim. I love you for the sake of Allah. So when I see you saying things that are incorrect, I'm going to say, well, look at Quran Sunnah. This is not being a prophet. Like, I don't know why you would even think that I think that, but I really think if we're going to be, it's a very arrogant ideology to have, to think that anybody who's trying to advise you or correct you, or if you make a mistake, that they're somehow insinuating that they're better than you. I'm not better than you. It's okay. We can be wrong.
I agree with the supremacy part, but I do agree with the part of that they're not going to have countries very long, and they are being replaced unless they do something about it. That I think is very hard to objectively deny.
I think what you meant to say was separatism, not supremacy. White separatism, being separate races, not one is better than the other, but that what works in one area won't work in another, and they should probably do their own thing in their own
Yeah, you're
area.
probably right, but the reason I use
I was right. And he knows it. He knows that he misread the tweet and he got upset and he tweeted saying things disrespecting me publicly, but he's not going to admit it because then it gets rid of the top G persona. So I get it. I'm not going to ask you to go and admit that you were wrong, but you were. White supremacism is not totally right. And we have to be very careful with this ideology. Like, yes, race is real. That's the argument. Race is real. Nobody's arguing and saying that race isn't real. But when we go down this rabbit hole of white supremacy, white people are smarter, black people are retarded monkeys, right? This is where it gets muddied up, and this is how race wars and riots happen. Realistically, I'm not being facetious, I'm not over-exaggerating. This is what happens. It happened in the UK very recently. And I think a lot of that could be attributed to that Zionist Tommy Robinson.
Use the word supremacy is because it's the supremacists who are calling for it, right? I don't agree with the supremacy part, but I do agree with the part of that they're not going to have countries very long, and they are.
Okay, so then don't say white supremacists are totally right.
Are being replaced unless they do something about it. That I think is very hard to objectively deny.
Okay.
Okay, what did Tate say? Tate says, I stopped talking to you years ago for a reason. Okay. As if it's like God's grace to speak. Okay, you know, you didn't even respond to what I say. You said that white supremacists are totally right. I give a fair criticism based off of Islam there, and you're like, I don't like you. You're not on the cool kids table. If that's what you believe instead of Islam, or instead of what I'm talking about, then okay.
No, SNEAKO, that's not what happened. You did not give a fair criticism based on Islam. Firstly, it is not.
Yes, I did. I don't think he just saw the word Jewish and crashed out.
Your job in Islam to criticize anybody. That's the first thing.
It's not criticism, it's correcting, right? He keeps saying this like only God can judge me rhetoric, this only God can, and this is why Christianity, let's be realistic, I'm not saying this as an insult, has gotten muddied up because there's not people correcting or trying to uplift each other. They'll just, oh, Jesus saves, Jesus saves. And then you get gay pride flags in church. I'm astaghfirullah, I don't like that. I want to see Christianity thrive. I love Christianity. But only God can judge you. This is like, oh, I'm on a journey. I keep seeing Andrew say that. I'm on a journey. It's my personal journey. But Andrew, you have positioned yourself as a very public figure and as a symbol for truth, as an example, as a role model, as the leader of masculinity, all these qualities. So if you say things that are very clearly incorrect, don't go, oh, haram police, only God can judge me. I'm on a journey, people should advise you. We want the best for you. We know that people are looking up to you. We want the best for our religion. We want the best for the future of the boys, right? A lot of young men look up to you a lot more than they look up to me. So when you say this stuff, and I know that it's influencing people, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. Haram, the reason that Islam is protected the way it is, and the reason, Andrew, that you became Muslim was because you said Islam doesn't change. If you say something wrong, oh, something's going to happen. They're going to attack you. Christians, you could say anything. You could disrespect Jesus and nothing happens, right? That was the reason, was the lack of tolerance. That Islam stands firm. Without haram police, Islam would not be the way it is. Islam would be Hinduism.
Yes. Second thing, you questioned my faith and called me a Jew. So you were responded to in kind. You cannot be a passive-aggressive little girl. I understand you're young. But
it's not past. I called you. I said directly exactly what was wrong.
If you talk that way to people, you're going to be responded to a certain way, and you do it all the time. It's not just me. It's just who you are. You're very like smarmy, snarky. That's who you are. That's fine. But you deserve.
I would argue. I mean, maybe he has a point there, but I would argue that this here saying I'm not a grifter. They're the biggest snakes, the haram police. I would argue that that's very snarky and smarmy.
So you were responded to in kind. You cannot be a passive-aggressive little girl. I understand you're young. But if you talk that way to people, you're going to be responded to a certain way. And you do it all the time. It's not just me. It's just who you are. Snarky. That's who you are. That's fine. But you deserved it. And you got brutally wrecked because you deserved it. Because you can't call me a Jew. And also, just because you've been Saudi and I've been trapped on house arrest, you don't get to be a better Muslim than me and tell me how the world works either.
This is what I think exposes his worldview. He thinks that I'm trying to one-up him on Islam. I did not know that he thought this. Bro. That he thought that I was trying to be a better Muslim than him, or trying to like, oh look, I've been a Saudi, or like trying to flex that as a card over him. Andrew, Islam is not a competition.
Yes.
Islam is for everyone. It's for the best. It's for salvation. It's for this world. It's for this life. It's for the next life. Everything is a test. Has nothing to do with I'm better. I've got a Saudi. Like, I'm not trying to do that, and I've never positioned myself like that. The fact that you see the pictures from Saudi, even though you claim to not watch my content, and you see that and you're like, he thinks she's better than me. I think you should look in the mirror about this. Why do you believe that?
No hard feelings, but you deserved it. Right? You said it in person, it'll knock you out.
Deserved what? Like, okay, deserved. What did you said absolutely wrecked. Where did you wreck me? Providing an emotional argument to something factual. You expose yourself by having like the same thing that you blew up for, calling out women for their emotional things. Men are logical, women are emotional, men are logical. You had an emotional argument to a very logical argument. You switched up on what made you popular. Who got demolished?
Right? If you said it in person, I would have knocked your ass out, and I would have helped you get up afterwards and said, sorry, sir, I had to break your jaw. Sometimes things just have to happen.
Do you see how this is an emotional argument? You tell someone the truth, and they're like, I'm gonna hit. That's what women do. That's what women do. You tell a woman to stop acting, hey, don't put that on when you go outside. No! That's exactly what you're doing. I don't like, do you think, it's crazy to me that he thinks that I'm scared. That you think I'm scared of you. No Muslim is scared of another man. We only fear Allah. What can you say? What do you think you can do that's gonna like make me live in fear? Crazy to me.
I know you think you're a tough guy because Strickland couldn't finish you. I'll finish you. Don't worry about that. I'm built different.
Processing now. Should I be diplomatic? Should I take the Muslim approach, or should I take which approach here? Look, I've never been the person to run away from a fight. I've never been the person to be, if I already fought a UFC champion 60, 70 pounds more than me, I'm not gonna run away from this. First off. Well, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but
guys, don't pile on SNEAKO. He supported me in my case. Of course he did, because I'm innocent. And I would support him if he had a case. And he's young, and he will get one, because he's very young. And if he continues to run around with all them women, he's gonna get a case. And I'll support him the same. Of course I will.
What women am I running around? Where? Where's the women?
Nowhere, bro.
Women.
Nowhere. Because you didn't hang out women
There's
after
none here.
converting
no women.
Islam and trying
no women
to
here.
be best Muslim. No, you are doing great.
There's no
bro.
beef. There's no beef. I had to correct it. You know, the public disrespect is not doesn't stand right with me. And everything's good with Tristan. First off, actually, I just talked to him like right before the stream, and yeah, I've always liked Tristan. Andrew, it's it's disappointing after being so publicly in support, but it is what it is. I don't want to spread any hate towards you. I wish the best for you. And Andrew Tate, I love you for the sake of Allah. I want the best for you. I want we have a lot in common. Our belief system. It actually turns out that on this issue too, we have a lot in common. And there shouldn't be infighting. It's a big distraction. I think there's bigger enemies to focus on right now. I think a lot of this infighting right now recently is a big waste of energy. It kind of turned this into a bit of a clown show. So regardless of what you think of me, that's fine. If you don't want to be cordial, you don't want to be, it's okay. I'm not here for your friendship. That's not what I'm here for. I care about what the message that's being put out into the world. This stuff is important.
Yes.
And if you think that's snarky that you said something wrong and I'm correcting you, that's fine. But when we're seeing like consequences for these words, like we should advise each other, and that's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, and the end your career stuff is just unnecessary. It's like, what do you want to, like be scared or something, or like what's the threat? I'm not going to try to, in fact, I've actually tried to save your career so many times. I'm not going to try to end your career. I would never try to do that. It's just, yeah, I think it's very arrogant. I don't think it's a good example for people. And I don't think it's resonating with people I don't think it's resonating the same way that it did in 2022. That whole thing, the red pill, alpha, top G, women, I don't think that it hits the same anymore. I think that there's a bubble, there's a response to everything, there's a response to feminism, but right now people are getting tired of that. That's why you see like the arguments with girls, for example, are going down. Fresh and Fit have pivoted away and started doing new political content. But people are tired of hearing that women this, women that, like no one wants to hear that anymore. What's needed now is a good example, and people want to find God. I think that there's a big lack of spirituality with a lot of people, and they're looking for the right sort of message. People want to see, they want to see generosity, respect, kindness. They want to see the attributes of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what made him such the most influential man in history. I just sounded like Think About His Fresh.
Yes.
And next time, Andrew, just reach out.
We are
I have your
following
number.
him.
I have your number. You don't need to do this. It's not necessary. That's it. Halas.
Khalas. I think SNEAKO has given great response to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate made a mistake, and he should fix it. And I think he has lots of arrogance and ego and lots of things, bro. Because he was saying just like proudly, oh, I'm the best Muslim. then you. Like this, bro. What is this, bro? I think he should fix himself. And that's it. And we have to pray for him because, you know, he converted to Islam and now he is our brother. Islam is easy to practice, but not for everyone. If your environment is not good, like Andrew Tate, pray for him, bro. Pray for him.